Oh no. Oh no, Mr. Obvious. I knew it. Oh God, I just knew it. Oh God.
I think I got this.
Yeah, Mr. Obvious, I don't know.
Come closer. No, not that close.
You son of a...
Don't have any of my tools, but I think I can do this the old-fashioned way.
You're thinking? You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we need to take this thing to the dealership.
Yeah. Last minute, man, we can do that. We can take it to the dealership. They're going to tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you. Cut the blue wire.
Cut the blue wire? What makes you think you got to cut the blue wire?
It's just a hunch.
Just a hunch? What do you mean, just a hunch?
Yeah, last minute, man, we can do it your way. We can cut the yellow wire.
My way? I don't even have a way. What?
Yeah, last minute, man, we're going to go with the hunch. We're going to cut the yellow wire.
The yellow? Wait. You just said cut the blue one.
Did I say that?
Yes, you said blue.
You sure I said that?
Yes, you said that. God.
Calm down. I'm going to cut the yellow one.
Okay.
Last minute, man.
Yes, Mr. Obvious.
Get the cat.
Get the cat. Get the cat. Get the cat. Oh, shit. So it is working. Last Minute Man, and today we are coming to you from the garage. And what are we doing today, Mr. Obvious?
Roxor. We're going to be working on that.
The lethal winch installation.
Yeah.
On the Mahindra Roxor. And what we did today was actually purchase a Champion 4,500-pound winch. And that's a typical like UTV power winch. And unfortunately and fortunately, the Mahindra Roxor is not a typical UTV. I mean, these things are really roadworthy. I mean, they're a lot more powerful than a standard UTV, which is why when you purchase one of these with a winch, it comes with like a Warren. I think it's like a 12,000-pound winch. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's something like that. So I bought a mounting plate for a winch, and the holes do not mount up on the mounting plate. Nothing aligned. So we're going to have to kind of retrofit this, you know, kind of do some custom work here. And there's only one guy I know that's really good at, you know, shade tree mechanic, and that is Mr. Obvious. He actually is a pro. So he's going to help me install this today. Like I said, we'll show you a lot of close-up pictures and stuff of this mounting bracket and kind of show you how we're doing this. And we're going to wire this up for you because I've not seen another video of it. No, so we're going to wire it and show you how it's done. All right, so first things first, this is the winch that I purchased, and it's got a wireless remote with it as well as the switch that we're going to attempt to mount up in the dash. But let's get close here and look at this. So as you can see, this is the Tough Country mounting bracket that I purchased, and this is for like the Warren winch that would go to this. This is the actual bracket that came with the Champion winch there, and of course it came with its own roller mount and everything. So that and the wires and everything. So we're going to actually drill through this 1/4-inch thick steel plate here and mount this to that, then mount the winch to this, and that should give us a really sturdy connection. And let us get going here. Attach your I guess your rollers on the front.
Yep, cable roller. And
that went right through the front of this Tough Country mount.
Yep. So now we're going to get this plate down good and square. We're going to mark our bolt holes. We're going to remove the plate and finish drilling through. Right. Through the big heavy plate.
And I want to show folks at home, your gearbox for your steering is directly underneath this. Now this is offset enough that shouldn't be an issue. But be cognizant of that when you're drilling. You don't want to accidentally drill into your gearbox there.
Where they're at, see what I'm saying?
Okay, yep, Mr. Obvious just made little holes there to mark where it's at. Now he's drilling him a pilot hole here with a smaller diameter.
Yep, we're going to get that done.
And this is, like I said, this is called a rough country mount, by the way. I said tough country.
Yep. Well, that's close. All right. We're using a 5/16 drill bit. And it's titanium drill bit with a Pronim Pro plasma drill.
No, right.
No, I'm kidding, just a drill.
So he's drawing. All right, Mr. Obvious. Now we got the holes drilled there. What are we doing?
All right, we took the cobalt bit. I kind of threw everybody saying titanium, but cobalt bits is what we use. So now we're taking never seize, anti-seize, whatever you want to call it.
Roger.
And we're going to put that on the bolt. So if someday you have to take it off, it's easier to get off. Keeps things from rusting up. I'm going to put them in these holes in here. Keep the holes from rusting up, and it'll be anti-seize top and bottom. So.
All right.
We'll get that done, get everything done up right. So
we're going to mount this winch before we do the wiring. Now, to me, the most complicated part is the wiring. I know absolutely nothing about wiring this stuff. So that's why I came over to Mr. Obvious. Sure, I can follow instructions in the paperwork, but he's got some other tricks of the trade and stuff that he knows that he'll talk to you about on here as we go. But let's get this plate mounted and then get the winch on there. Okay, so we finally got it mounted on. What trouble did we run into there, Mr. Obvious?
Just bolts that come with it just wasn't quite long enough. So.
And that's because we were putting that quarter-inch thick mount that isn't typically on a UTV.
Yeah, so.
And but it's pretty solid now. It's good enough for me to get to the hardware store and get some longer bolts next week. But that'll keep me going through this week, or this weekend rather. Okay, so this is the wiring diagram that came with the winch. And Mr. Obvious is going to do something a little different though. We're actually wiring it in series, correct? Like that? Correct, Mr. Obvious?
Yeah, we're going to wire it just like it says.
But you have a capacitor here. You told me to purchase one of those.
Yeah.
Now explain to the folks at home why that is a good idea to have.
A lot of people don't use them, and it's probably not necessary, but I like using them when you're drawing something that's pulling higher amps. Instead of pulling all them amps off your battery and pulling all the amps off your alternator, it'll kind of pull the amps through the capacitor instead. Right. And it'll just let more or less just let the battery and the alternator just pretty much idle. This thing hold the amps to it. So, yeah.
Okay, so we've got to pre-charge it, get it pre-charged, and then we got to figure out where we want to mount it. And like Mr. Obvious said, it's really according to where our wires take us. And we may have to extend some wires and whatnot to make it through the firewall, but we are going to start here now. Now, if you look at this, I would have never thought to do this, but you took that like wiring shroud.
Yeah. Yeah. So we took that wire loom and put around that hole, and now we're protected for no shorts.
So it won't cut, and you know, especially in an off-road vehicle, we are going to be off-road a lot in this.
Yeah.
So that is just too cool, man. And he said, what do you think, you came to a cobble shop? All right. Okay, Mr. Obvious. So we've got to get the wiring through the firewall, and how are we going to do that?
Well, we've got two little extra little boots that pops out.
Okay.
So you can just clip that end off, and that's going to let us, let me get my flashlight here so you can see it. So we'll clip that end and run our wires through here, and we'll put our tape back around that and seal that.
Okay, so you can see under here where it's going to go through, because you can see the little boot holes there.
Yep, the little holes, so you run extra wires.
Roger. Cool beans. Thank you, Mahindra, for making that easy. All right, true to form, Mr. Obvious made this look nice and neat. So we come through the firewall here, and you put that shroud over the wiring, correct?
Yep, we went ahead and put it all in wire loom. Put wire loom around the wire that was existing, so everything's right and looks factory.
Yep, and we ran it all the way around here. He zip tied here. we've run through. And we decided we definitely are going to put it here. We looked at, you've got some real estate on this side, and we could have ran it that way. But, you know, interfering with, you know, when we put this capacitor in here, it was just interfering with too much stuff. And most of your electrical is on this side anyway. So we figured, okay, we'll just stick with that. And we'll get this all wired up. It's, you know, it's easy when you got someone that knows what they're doing helping you out.
Yeah. See, they had this little wire, this loom over the wiring, but we went ahead and put heavy wire loom over it to protect everything.
And it looks a lot cleaner that way.
Yeah.
It definitely looks clean. Doesn't look like anybody came in here and jerry-rigged things. And so you want it to look clean. Take your time. Do it right. And like I said, this isn't anything somebody couldn't do on their own. You don't have to be a pro to do this. But if you happen to know somebody that does stuff like this for a living, it is great to have them give you a hand. Our capacitor mounted down here. You are splicing in the wiring for the remote control.
Yep.
Wireless remote.
Wireless remote.
And we've ran everything up here, your hot wire rather, through the firewall, and we are going to be connecting to the ignition, correct?
Yep.
All right, so we'll film that and how he discovers that, because that's interesting to me. I'd like to know how myself. Okay, so we got this wiring all done here, and there's the capacitor down there. We got everything ran to the winch, to the relay, the battery, everything's ran over here, and now we'll go in the cab where Mr. Obvious is finding the ignition wire. All right, Mr. Obvious, show us what you did here. We took the ignition out.
Yeah, so we got the ignition out. We back probed our wire. It looks like it's going to be a green with a white stripe. And as soon as you look at your voltmeter here, as soon as you turn the key on, you got to hold the ground.
Sorry.
You got to have a ground. So okay. 12.95, key off, we lose our voltage.
Okay.
So then when we start it, we still got our voltage once it's started. So
Roger.
It's going to be our ignition wire.
All right. So then,
let me see what wire number this is. Wire number 3.
Okay, so
wire back to the ignition, green with a white stripe, wire number 3.
Roger. And so you're gonna run those 2 wires to that.
Yeah.
And that's going to give us power to the winch.
Yeah. That's going to light up your relay for your winch.
All right. I got a cautionary tale here. I don't know who makes this. I got it off Amazon, and this thing clearly was faulty.
It's a faulty capacitor. Yeah, I built power supplies and stuff, put them in, run way more amps than what this was going to run.
That thing just popped.
Yeah.
Smoke went everywhere.
As soon as we fired up in it and lit it.
Now the winch was working great, and we just started reeling it out there, and poof, it went. And doesn't look like anything got in the engine bay there. So that is bizarre. But we're going to get this hooked back up and just wire it without the capacitor on there, because it doesn't really need it.
No.
But we're going to hook it up without a capacitor and then do an AAR. Okay, Mr. Obvious, so we got her up and running again. Everything seems fine. Let's go ahead. I'm running the wireless remote here. And running her out. Okay. Now I'm going to take her back in. Ready?
Yep.
Yeah! So it is working. Good. All right. It's working awesome. Working perfect. Let's get back for an AAR. And we are back with our after action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Obvious?
We're going to report a Roxor with a winch on it.
The winch is now installed successfully. I'm happy. It's on. It works. We'll be using this a lot on the farm, probably yanking logs out of the woods or something. I'm not really a crazy off-roader that's going to go mudding and stuff in it. I mean, I might get a wild hair every once in a while, but that's not really why I purchased this. I purchased this to work on a farm with it. And, you know, so this winch will come in very handy. I will have to say I'm very disappointed in the capacitor there.
Yeah.
It's you're positive that's just a bad capacitor.
Bad capacitor.
So I'll see if Amazon will accept it back. If anybody else has seen anything like that, let me know. That thing, it was working fine. Then all of a sudden it went pop. And it was shot. And there was absolutely nothing wiring, nothing touching, you know. So
I build big power supplies, 150 amperes, run other equipment and stuff. I run them capacitors and stuff in it, so that's just a bad capacitor.
Well, I can tell you this, the place he works, if there's ever a real big problem, he's the guy they call. He tracks down all these anomalies in the electrical systems and everything. So he knows his stuff. This is wired up very, very good, especially because there's no, like I said, no, you know, for a lower end winch, there's really no mounting options or anything for the Roxor. So we kind of had to custom fit everything. The wiring was not that complicated when you've got him to do it. For myself, it was more than I was willing to bite on. I can tell you that. That was too big for me to swallow. I just don't know anything about it. It's like magic or something to me. It's like voodoo in here. You know, I don't know how it works, and you know, that it's just something I stay away from. Tinkering mechanically, I'm fine with. You know, I've rebuilt the top end of Chevy 350, and I also did an LT1. I built that engine. I actually had that built real hot. I was running about 425 horse on the dyno with that. But, you know, doing stuff like that I could do. It's just messing with computers and wiring, I don't like it. So, anything you want to add, Mr. Obvious, to this? Was this more complicated than you thought it would be?
No, we just done it right. You know, put everything in wire loom and fixed it the way it should be. So
yeah, it looks like a factory job. And I doubt, you know, I doubt you go anywhere and guys would take the time to really do that. Yeah. Unless it's your own vehicle and you're doing it yourself. Anybody else probably, they might have zip tied stuff out of the way. But I mean, just going that extra inch and making it look factory, I think it's worth the effort to do. So, all right. Well, with that, everybody, remember, keep your knives sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man and watch us on
Rumble.